Hello, good evening and welcome is what David Frost would say. My thoughts very much with his family and the terrible news that Sir David Frost has passed away. Sharon will have more about that, which is breaking news from the UK as we speak. He's famous for so many things, but if you've seen the movie Frost Nixon, you know just how incredible he was as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, as a showman and as a journalist. Thorough and an exciting man. We'll pay more tributes to him as the show rolls on. I'm Paul Murray, welcome to the program, and this is the show that is, I'll be honest, the most opinionated here on Sky News. No doubt, mine is the one that'll thump the table harder than anyone else, but thank God that's what I'm paid for. If you want to be part of the show at any time, the hashtag is PMLive. Email pmlive@skynews.com.au, at email pmlive@skynews.com.au. Well, thank God, here we are. The light is almost there. The tunnel is almost over. Now, you can interpret that as the past 30 days of a campaign, the past 3 years of hung parliament, the past 6 years of Labor government, or maybe just it's a whole lot longer than that for different reasons that I don't want to get into on Father's Day. But our long national nightmare is almost over. A government will be chosen in 6 days' time, and we all know that according to the opinion polls, according to conversations you've had with your family, according to common sense and the basic breeze in the wind, you know there's going to be a change of government. The politicians know there's going to be a change of government. The media, even in their heart of cheering little hearts, know there's going to be a change of government. So when Kevin Rudd turned up today, he decided to do Rudd in the Round, like one of those intimate concerts where basically, you know, it's the guy in the middle and there's lots of people around them. And this is where he gets to do all of his greatest hits, including, you know, Tony Abbott's going to cut. I'm from Queensland, I'm here to help. Fair shake of the sauce bottle. Oh, it was very exciting. But then he closed with a number that, I don't know, it hasn't worked since 1993, but Kevin Rudd reckons he's going to be able, his version of it, his cover of it's going to be #1 by this time next week.
I've been in tougher spots than this and have come from behind before. Or as one kid said to me in Tassie the other day, Kevin, we want you to become the comeback kid for Australia.
Yeah, I don't know. How can you ever prove that he ever actually met a kid in Tasmania? But still, this was the plan, was to stand there and to rally the troops. And OK, you need to do that because, look, we know what's about to happen. But the analogy has been used all day, and I've heard this several times, where imagine that you were a footy team who was down at three-quarter time, imagine you were a cricket team who had to score 100 off the final over, all of that stuff. This election is heading the way that it is heading because of the Labor Party. It is heading because of the actions of Julia Gillard, Bill Shorten and Kevin Rudd. So when Kevin Rudd turns around and says that I've been in tougher situations, what exactly is he talking about? The only time that he lost his job, and remember it isn't his job, it's ours and we lend it to somebody for 3 years. He spent the next 3 years backstabbing, bitching, moaning, leaking, doing everything he could to convince, 150 people, at least half of them, that he was the guy who should take back over. He was able to successfully do that. So I don't know what that message was about, but obviously you're trying to fire people up. Another example of firing up that had, a lot of people in the room very excited, but those of us in the real world watching kind of shaking our heads, was the Deputy Prime Minister. Of course, he should be known as Albo, the MC today.
If you want a bloke who can jump through tyres, vote for Tony Abbott. But if you want a bloke who can guide you through the next financial crisis, vote for Kevin Rudd.
Yeah, isn't it hilarious that Tony Abbott was jumping through tyres while training with soldiers who defend our country? When he was in Darwin, yes, he was put through his paces along with military recruits. I like a Prime Minister and I like the idea of a politician who doesn't just fly over to Afghanistan, spend $800,000, takes his wife with him and basically uses soldiers for photo ops. I prefer a bloke who, if he is going to use soldiers for photo ops, you make sure that you get down dirty and sweaty as well. I thought that was smart arsery of the lowest form. Having a go at a bloke who was trying to, for a moment, for a day, walk in the shoes of the men and women who defend this country. Well done, Albo. Played great in the room. For those of us in the real world, it didn't play very well at all. And by the way, when talking about turning the economy around and somebody who's going to be able to make your way through a global financial crisis, let's have a look at a couple of opinion polls. These are opinion polls that are in two blokes' seats. One would be the Treasurer who got us through the global financial crisis and the bloke who wasn't even in the front row at today's launch. These, by the way, don't come from the evil Murdoch empire. This comes from JWS. This was in the Financial Review. In the seat of Lily, Wayne Swan will be wiped off the map in just 6 days' time. 53-46. As for the current one, well, he'd be in McMahon, wouldn't he? 53 to 46, Chris Bowen will be wiped off the map. Hence why there's some pretty dirty tactics being played against the man who was running against him. So finally, it's all now down to spin. You've seen the reality of Australia, you've seen realities of the polls, so you send out people like Peter Beattie to say rubbish like this.
That was a circuit breaker speech, because what it did, it dealt with all the issues I'm getting from working class families. Where are the apprenticeships coming from? He dealt with TAFE, he dealt with legislating to protect manufacturing jobs. That's core values for the Labor Party, about apprenticeships and jobs and opportunities.
It was a circuit breaker speech. Well, at risk of torturing the obvious metaphor here, Mr Beattie, and to all of the colleagues who think that today was the game changer that's going to bring them back to 50-50, that's going to make them have their 1993-like comeback, I'm sorry, there's no circuit breaker. You're about to be out of power. Can you know what you think? The hashtag PM Live, email pmlive@skynews.com.au.